Philip Rosenthal, and I'm going to be talking about the rising influence of radical Islam in South African politics. And I would distinguish that from just ordinary Muslim people being involved in politics. And I fully support their right to express their viewpoint. But let's just hear a clip from Imtaz Suleiman, who is the co-chair of the current National Dialogue.
I don't follow international law or human law. I follow Quranic law. I'm a Muslim. I don't need any permission from anybody in the world to tell me what to do. I break the laws all the time. Breaking the laws is laws of the West people or governments, and that's not Islamic law. I follow Islamic law, and Islamic law overrides any other law.
When you fear Allah, other people fear you. The Quran is very clear. Strike terror into the hearts of your enemies and Allah's enemies.
Now, that's just one example, but there have been many others during the past few years, and these have already cost us money in terms of the value of the rand. The American government has taken away many of the special concessions that South Africa had and imposed tariffs on us. And these are a direct response towards an aggressive positioning of our foreign policy against the West, which has been substantially influenced by, for example, Naledi Pandor, the former Minister of International Relations, now the head of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, who is a Muslim. Then also the appointment of Ebrahim Rasool, who's made very undiplomatic statements against the United States and its president, who was a completely unsuitable choice for becoming the ambassador to America. We also have a Western Cape MPL for the ANC.
Down with apartheid Israel, down! Down with the United States of America, down!
A banner which is associated with support for Hamas.
We don't condemn Hamas. We are part of Hamas. We are part of Hezbollah. We are part of Islamic Jihad. Don't tell us about 7th of October.
These are strange incidents which wouldn't have been seen previously in South African society. We also have the confession of the treasurer of the ANC, which is the ruling party, that they received a very substantial donation from Muammar Gaddafi towards their 2009 election campaign. And one wonders whether they also received something for the 2024 campaign, because they went very suddenly from being in deep debt to having plenty of money to run an election campaign after they announced from...
The state visit extends the bilateral relations between South Africa and Qatar. What is happening right now in Gaza, which has now turned into a concentration camp where genocide is taking place. And we stated our position as South Africa very clearly, together with many other countries in the world, so fit to refer this whole Israeli government action to the International Criminal Court. We have put through a referral because we believe that war crimes are being committed there. His Royal Highness said that there's just no limit to the investments that can take place from Qatar to South Africa, and that really heartened us.
Qatar is the wealthiest country in the world per person population and is politically aligned with Iran, although it plays a double game with the West as a trading partner and also allowing an American military base there. But it is also known to be funding terrorist organizations around the Middle East, destabilizing multiple countries through those donations, and is also funding the Al Jazeera television network, which many people trust as their source of news on the Middle East, but in fact is pushing out pro-Iranian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist narratives. Even, for example, Saudi Arabia was imposing sanctions at one point on Qatar because of their terrorist funding, which is destabilizing the region. So these are very strange partners. The South African government has assisted Iran to break sanctions, allowing it to join BRICS, which is an alignment against the West. And I believe that this is really harming our economy. It's harming our international relations. And these are the worst choices of Islamic countries to align with. There are other Islamic countries such as UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, which do not finance terrorist activity and destabilize the region. Now, one might have different views to their governments, but they are not in the same category. We also have, on a local level, for example, the proposal to rename Santon Drive after a terrorist who hijacked an airliner. We have calls in the Western Cape Parliament from an EFF Muslim politician to close Herzliya Jewish School because of its support for Israel. And there was also a request from the ANC, MPL, Mohammed Khalid Sayed, to then use the Department of Education to interfere in that school. Now, these things are, I think, for most people, completely unacceptable and very concerning. We've had more radical groups, for example, the Islamic State of Africa, which is directly aligned with that terrorist organization, attempted to register as a political party. They were refused on 3 grounds. 2 of them were technical. One of them was concerns about their constitution and what they are proposing, but they could reapply, and we don't know what the result of that is. But that is an extremist group. It doesn't have a large amount of support, I think, but it could be a base for that organization to get a foothold in South Africa. And we have aligned extremist groups in Tet province in Mozambique. So these are a real threat. But the influence on our national government is much more of a concern because that is already harming us. And I think that one of the things that has happened, which is concerning, is that Hamas, which is a organization based in Gaza, has opened an office in Cape Town and has been seeking, with a lot of foreign money, to radicalize Western Cape Muslims. It's managed to get inroads into large numbers of mosques and student organizations to move a formerly very peaceful population to supporting a radical Muslim Brotherhood aligned agenda. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood is not simply a brotherhood of all Muslims. This is an organization which is aligned with Iran, but is seeking to promote its political agenda throughout the world. And that is something which I think we must be concerned about. At the same time, I think there is common ground that we can have with some Muslim people where we support the same views against LGBT in schools, sex education in schools, and against, for example, the hate speech bill, against the spy bill, in favor of home education. These are things that we can join with them and agree with them. But these radical groups that are seeking to bring in a foreign Iranian aligned political agenda, I believe, are extremely dangerous, and we need to counteract that influence.